Allow me first to disagree with Masharia because he said that the current
Wow.
CS of ICT,
Joe
Joe
Moshero.
Moshero, is a youth. Absolutely no. I mean, records show that in 1983, he was in Lenana High School. In 1993, I think he was in the University of Nairobi. So how is he a youth? If he, I mean, has the definition of being a youth changed? Unless the BBI changed it, I'm not sure. But let me say this. One thing that requires in all this whole matrix to help the youth of this country is for the president to have a comprehensive economic stimulus package or strategy that will ensure it strengthens our key income earners. One is health, the hospitality sector, is tourism. If tourism is revived, we'll have very many hotels open, and it's us, the youth, who will be working in those hotels. It's our farmers who will be supplying to those hotels the food that's being eaten there. That will bring us to a place where we youth have money in our pockets. The thing that our youth need is to have money in our pockets. And to bring money into the pockets of the youth, the stimulus program requires to have both fiscal policies and monetary policies, where government increases its own spending, or the ability of the youth to go to a financial and get a loan is easy. So that if I'm starting a business with 10,000, I can easily get that loan without much ado and start my business. So for me, giving the issue of Moody Aori, it is true there are certain jobs that would require experience. There are certain levels, there are certain, especially when you are having to deal with boats, when you, not really boats, when you're having to deal with large institutions, you require a certain, for example, if I tell this young man here, become the CEO of Kenyatta National Hospital, he does not have the expertise.
But Kenneth, don't you think there are young people who actually have that education, that expertise, but have been denied the chance to build that experience and could actually do that job?
There are a lot of people with experience to become CEOs, but we must also blend in, let the older persons be mentors. Like it happened in Singapore, Lee Kuan Yew, the president, he was given a cabinet position of a minister mentor, where he was in cabinet ministering the young ministers who were there, mentoring the young cabinet ministers. So we require to blend in a model of mentoring, but allowing the young people to work because they have the energy, the strength, and the ability to blend in technology and they understand the needs of the current generation.
Okay.
Yes, so and we must blend in both the old and the young. Let the old be mentors, let the young be workers. And I think that's where our president has failed in getting it that way. That in every institution, even if it's in the media industry, we say the older journalists come in and are able to blend with the younger ones and help them understand the terrains of the market.
Okay, that is quite insightful. I'd actually missed listening to such insights. Kindly pass the mic to the lady right behind you. And she's been shaking her head the whole time. I bet you've been totally agreeing. And I'd like you, as he was speaking, maybe having that economic stimulus is one of the priorities that he thinks should be incorporated in the financial budget that maybe we have. What do you think that we as Kenyans should be holding as priorities, especially considering the fact that we have a large majority of young people in the country? What should be a priority to help us maybe boost development?
So my name is Kirsten Joss, and I am from Kentucky in the U.S., and I actually lived in Kenya for 3 years in 2016 to 2019, and I'm just here for another week, but I'm here visiting. But in the past 3 years, I worked with youth here, and I've been back these past couple of weeks just talking to youth and some of the youth that I have mentored over the years, and they're just telling me, I don't have a job. I'm worried about money. I'm worried about making it to the next day. I'm worried about health. I'm worried about what if my parents get sick and we don't have the money? What if I get sick? What if, all these what ifs, they're worried. They're concerned. They're concerned that their government isn't able to take care of them, that they're using the money for different things. They're worried about what's next on the table for their food. They're worried about being able to go back to school, being able to finish their education, being able to get a job. They're all very, very concerned. And I don't want to get emotional, but for me, and working with them, it breaks my heart. And, you know, like, I have been blessed to be able to come from, like, Americans to come here and to help the youth and to be able to understand them and to where they're coming from. I also have been helping with the school that I've started about 3 years ago here in Mathare, and to see those kids being able to even to come back to school and to be able to sit there and to get an education and to get a meal that provides them at least one meal per day, and just to see like what their life is, and just them talking to me and asking me like, how is it back in the U.S.? How is the COVID cases? How is life back there? Do people have jobs? Do people have this? Like, they're constantly knowing like, what is life there? Is it better there, or how is life here? Like, they're always constantly, I think, comparing. And for me, it hurts for me to say like, I want this country, I want these youth to be able to have a future, to have a job, to be able to know like, I'm going to be okay, I'm going to make it through this life. And your youth is your next generation. If you don't pour into them, what is your country going to be? Who's going to be your next president? I go into schools and I'm talking to kids. I just want to encourage them, and I'm asking them, what are your dreams? Where do you see yourself? Do you want to be a teacher, a lawyer, a doctor, the next president? And so I'm just here to encourage them. I'm here to be there for them. Yeah. I hope that they'll be able to just be able to trust in your country, to be able to know that they're going to have that opportunity in their lives.
Okay, and maybe as you do that, before we toss it back to them, I asked you, what do you think, because you've interacted with different people, you've gotten to know what the situation on the ground is and what people actually need. What do you think is a priority that we should place to make things better?
I think their priority is definitely the health, definitely their education and their health. I think if you get the kids back into school, back into their education, being able for them to to focus on that, to being able to get back to somewhat of a normal life. Yeah. I think that's just the biggest importance right now for them.
Okay.